Welcome to another episode of Further Culture Podcast, soccer podcast for us, by us. It's episode 186, and today we're here with Mark and Devin. So we're going to talk a bit about World Cup. We'll talk about leagues, cups. Might even talk about a sippy cup. So maybe some Henny. Y'all drinking on anything tonight? We sipping on any cups?
I got this here apple cider.
Okay. Mark, what you got in the cup, man?
Just Coke. No Jack.
ATL, baby. Could be even truer. Sipping on some Coca-Cola Proud Lemonade, courtesy of the minute.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Can't beat it. So let's dive right in. I'm representing Colombia, coming with the vibes. Not even gonna try to throw shade on it. We don't need 3 points to catch these vibes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time. It was a lot of drama this morning. On both matches that were taking places. Clearly, Colombia was leading the group as is, so they really didn't need a win to progress. It would have been nice to see them score, but then as the matches kept going, you were like, oh, they have a chance to knock Germany out if the result holds. And so I was like, did we really want Colombia to score? If Morocco wants to get this, make history, as they always do, as they've been doing, I'm not against it. So I was very excited to see the results held.
Yeah, I was there for all of those vibes. It's like, as soon as I realized there's the potentiality to let Germany go home, I was like, South Korea, keep on doing your thing. I'm rooting for you.
If I had done a bracket before the World Cup, it would have been terrible. Like, I would not have been able to. I'd have definitely had Canada in there. I'd have definitely had Brazil. But by the time it got to this group, like Group H, I was like, and I saw the group where it was at that point, Germany only on 3 points. Colombia, pretty much, it would have taken like a sensational combination of results for them to not advance at that point. So, I was like, you know what? If this doesn't go, or if this goes the way of Brazil and Canada, Germany could be going home. And guess what? So I'm here for it, man. Yeah, I'm here for the Derby Day colonizers, Derby Day independence. We got 3 of them, man. We got Morocco, France, Nigeria, England, and South Africa, Netherlands. That's lit. But shout out to the African teams. 3 African teams in the round of 16 for the first time. Like, a lot of people questioned if the quality was there to even expand to 32 teams. I think we can put that conversation to bed.
Absolutely. Convo could definitely go to bed, and it's proof that the African Conference needs more leagues or more teams in it as well. Even that balance those teams out. But yeah, I'm all for it. 3 colonizer derbies taking place over the weekend. Looking forward to them all, and they're all going to be good matches. I'm very proud of Morocco, to even get smacked how they did in the first round and be resilient through it all to advance. Once they got smacked 6-0 by Germany in the very first match, and everybody wrote them off, right? And speaking of, we actually did a bracket at work, and I promise you, everybody's bracket's busted. I'm not even gonna lie. I had Brazil in the final, and here we go, but my heart's always with France. It's always been with France. So even though I had Brazil in the final, I'm rooting for France at this point. Obviously, outside of the U.S., I'm rooting for France to pull it together on that side of the bracket. So we'll see. But I've been very proud of Nigeria up to this point. South Africa, African Cup of Nations champions. They've been resilient. And then Morocco, obviously just earlier last year the men reached the semifinals of the men's World Cup, and here we are with the women, the lowest ranked team by FIFA rankings to progress to the elimination stages. I'm here for the vibes. I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the upsets. Let's go. Let's bring it on.
Yeah. I don't know if I have anything to add to that. No, I mean, like, that knockout, I don't think that there's even like a bad matchup. You know what I mean? Like, Switzerland, Spain, that could be interesting. Japan, Norway. Whew! I mean, two teams that could easily make a run to the final, in my opinion.
By far, I think Japan is the most complete looking team to this point. And you probably have to throw, I would say, maybe even England in there, and even maybe France at this point. I'd probably say are the three most complete teams up to this point. Japan has just looked like a well-oiled machine. They have not skipped a beat in any form whatsoever, and it was kind of mentioned before, but like, you saw glimpses of this in She Believes, right? Like, they look like like they look like they're playing to win something, in a few months. So, and they've absolutely shown it. And obviously, skipping around the U.S., we have to play Sweden, and most likely, if we get by Sweden, next up is Japan. So it's definitely not an easy road for us right now. And I mean, you would have to put your money on, coming out of that side of the bracket right now. If you're a betting man, if you've been watching, you got to bet on Japan to come out of that side of the bracket right now if you're not betting on us.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I had Japan as my dark horse, but that is no longer an option. They have put all the cards on the table. Like, look at here, we coming for you. They should get to the semis, no problem, in my opinion. And that also means the U.S. does not progress as a result. But other things that I feel like we can maybe speak on real quick is we were kind of talking about like France's and the England's, and like they were looking so good, but have we seen some of their deficiencies?
England's interesting to me because, like, especially not playing Lauren James is kind of weird. And then you immediately saw why. So it's one of, are they getting better as this World Cup goes on? France, another one, like that first result, not great. You know what I mean? Like, is this more of what we've seen in previous tournaments with France? But they pulled it together in a tough group. I mean, look, Brazil did not make it out of that group. So, it's just, there's just so much parity at this World Cup. Like, I agree with Devin that I feel like Japan has probably looked the best, like the most complete, the fewest questions. But the others, I guess one thing I'm curious about is some of these attacks. And we can include Canada, Germany, Brazil, the US. But yeah, England and France too. Like, I wonder sometimes if they maybe run out of ideas, even though they have all the talent. It does seem like they can be stifled. So, like, I'm curious, like, for example, if somebody takes Lauren James out of the game, what does England have? So it's, if maybe the attacks aren't as good as we think they are, but who knows?
Yeah, no, I think Mark is spot on with that. We've seen England, honestly, up until this last result, England, they were just getting by, right? It definitely felt like it was a lot of kind of forcing it to Alessia Russo, and it just wasn't panning out for right now. And then obviously here enter Lauren James, and boom, like it's like a completely different attack. Listening to ESPN FC, their World Cup coverage, I know they were singing Lauren James's praises as they should, and then they wanted to follow it up with, oh, but it was against China. But let's keep in mind that China was the Asian Conference champions. Like, this is not some, this isn't some scrub team. Like, they are here for a reason. Have they not played well this tournament? No, they haven't, but they did do what they needed to do to get here. And on top, both things can be true. China is underperforming and Lauren James is that good. Both things can be simultaneously true. So we'll see how that, goes on, especially against Nigeria. I hope that they've learned that they need to keep Lauren James in there to create that spark, because she was just absolutely in God mode that entire game. And I really think the world took notice to that. So, even though she does play for you guys, during the regular season, I am very happy that she got that shine like that. And then over to France, it is kind of the same thing. They've been kind of scraping it out, for lack of a better term. Obviously, as Mark mentioned, that 0-0 draw against Jamaica, again in the very first match. And now, as the matches have progressed, obviously Jamaica hasn't allowed a single goal the entire group stage, right? So maybe that result doesn't look as bad as we thought it did at first. And then obviously scraping out the win against Brazil, who's now out of this tournament. Maybe that wasn't so scrappy as we thought it was now. And then of course the final was that absolute thrashing against Panama, which, Panama was just happy to be here at this point. So, I guess there are still a lot of questions to be asked of France. Like, who is the real France? Are they really for real? And obviously, going into these elimination stages, it remains to be seen. But obviously, star players, of course, Diani has looked absolutely amazing. I mean, she was, again, scoring goals for fun against Panama the other day. Obviously they're going to live and die through her. So, like I said, now that we're in the elimination rounds, now that these teams really have something to play for, we'll see what kind of gear they kick it in.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of you guys that said, I thought France was stuttering for a lot of minutes on the pitch. Just kind of all of a sudden put it together these last two matches. Or really like last three halves would probably be a better way to say it. But then same with England, kind of in the beginning of their tournament, they didn't play that first match without Lauren James, or with Lauren James. So like they also stuttered and it felt forced as well. But I guess I wanted to speak to kind of how like the Spains looked, maybe talk a little bit on that. Or either some of the Nordic teams, the Swedens, and actually if you guys have picks for the semifinal for both sides of the bracket.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. I haven't seen as much of Spain and Norway, as in like actually watched them. Obviously, I know kind of the results that they had. That Spain, that 4-0 to Japan. How much is that them being bad versus Japan being absolutely clinical? By the way, like Spain had 77% possession. I've never seen a team have 3/4 of the ball and lose 4-0. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, like Spain's also a weird situation because I mean, like every federation has their thing, right? In terms of the problems with Spain in particular, because of the issues like between the players and the federation. Some of their best players are not here, so it's like how far can it really go? Yeah, Spain. I don't know. It's Spain's a wild card, I think, because I mean, like they still have their style. I think that their brand of soccer can especially work for tournaments. Maybe their chemistry would be enough to make like a semifinal run. And then Norway, man, speaking of issues, Norway just definitely took the scenic route in terms of off the field, but if Ada is available, it's hard to bet against them. Although I mean they play Japan, and to be honest, I'm gonna pick Japan. But like just looking at that little quartet of Japan, Norway, Sweden, USA, it's interesting, right? I mean, like you could see any of them making a run.
Well, Denmark's on the other side of the bracket as well in terms of the Nordic teams, but I thought it was interesting that they kind of were like the Norway, Sweden. It's like we're gonna see it all right there.
Yeah. Sorry, you gonna say something?
No. I guess if it was me, semifinal pick, I think Spain could get out of this bracket. I'd love to see South Africa in that semifinal spot, just from a culture standpoint. But I think Spain kind of pushes through. But that should be a good quarterfinal match. Obviously, I'll be rooting for South Africa over the Netherlands. So yeah, Espanol, Japan, France, and England is what I have over there.
So
yeah, looking ahead, I'm just kind of looking at the results for the upcoming fixtures. Switzerland, Spain, I do expect Spain to get out of that one. Obviously Japan, Norway, as of right now, it's hard to bet against Japan. Of course, Ada Hedegaard, on her best day, obviously one of the best in the entire world. But again, Japan is just too well-oiled right now. It's going to take a drastic, something drastic to happen for them to lose. Of course, once you go to PKs, anything can happen. But Japan, they just look in shape. They've been outrunning everybody. They've been out, they've just been the better overall team. They let Spain, y'all take all that. We're going to attack you on the counter. We're going to hit you where it hurts. And we're just going to make y'all look stupid. 23% possession for a game and winning 4-0 means y'all are playing our game. That's exactly what that means. So I truly, I'm here for it. I'm here to see it. I love it. I do think Japan is going to come out of that. South Africa, what a majestic run through the African Cup of Nations. How much it meant to the country. And I think this is going to be their chance to prove how legitimate they actually are against the Netherlands. What better test than that? I do think that's going to be a close one. I don't think there's going to be a definitive winner out of that. They're both very physical teams, obviously. So it's hard for me to pick. Obviously, my head says Netherlands, my heart says South Africa. So I think we win. The culture wins, no matter who wins that one. Obviously looking at the next match, Sweden, United States, we can talk to that in depth a little bit more. England, Nigeria will be fun, obviously, as we mentioned. Again, I would love to see Nigeria come out of that for the culture's sake. I do think England is a little bit more put together from a team effort. So I think England does nudge it out. Australia, Denmark. Australia's been looking pretty good on the low. They've been very underrated, and especially they've been without Sam Kerr. They've absolutely cruised. They've looked amazing doing it, and Sam Kerr hasn't played, so she's expected to be back from this. So we are to be back for this match. So I think they're still waiting to hit a whole other gear. I do think Australia pulls that one out. Obviously, I think the most fun match to watch is going to be Colombia versus Jamaica. What history have Jamaica made in qualifying for this elimination stage? I'm sure we all submitted some money for that GoFundMe, because they couldn't even get here. They couldn't even get to the World Cup. So we all submitted money towards that GoFundMe, and now here they are, not allowing a single goal in up to this point. And Here's the true test, right? You have Linda Caicedo, arguably one of the hottest stars in the game right now, coming to town. So we'll see. They've had a solid defensive plan up to this point. Their offense has been lacking, but that's they'll cross that bridge on Tuesday. I do think Colombia pulls it out, but just to see the journey that Jamaica has taken to this point to get here has been absolutely a blast to watch, and I'm here for the history. And then France, Morocco, I do think the same deal. France is just more complete of a team at this point, while Morocco has again made history. Love to see it. I do think France pulls that out. If I had to go semis, Japan, United States, and then England, France, if I had to go semis.
I don't think Japan and the United States can make it to the semis, because they would play, if they both win, they play each other.
Playing the quarters. They're playing the quarters.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, if we get past Sweden, we face Japan.
But everyone's going to be all World War II memes.
Yeah, so maybe, sheesh. I don't know. Looking at the bracket, Netherlands?
Don't forget what happened to the men.
Yeah. I guess if I had to swap it, that would be it.
Might not be a fluke. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see.
I guess I'll chime in with my semi-final picks. I think out of Switzerland, Spain, the Dutch, and South Africa, I'd probably take Spain out of that one. I think that their style and experience will end up being what carries them through to the semis anyway. I think their run will probably end there. Out of Japan, Norway, Sweden, USA, I gotta take Japan. I just, we've already waxed lyrical about Japan, but Sweden's look good too, and I think we'll get into it, but wouldn't be surprised if they beat the US. But I am, at this point, I'm thinking Japan is gonna at least make the final. Let's see, out of Australia, Denmark, France, and Morocco. So I definitely think Australia and France are going to advance. If we get Australia, France in that quarters, that is going to be a monster game. So much nerves because, obviously Australia the home team, but neither of those teams have won a World Cup. France has a long history in tournaments of choking. And I think that continues. I'm going to bet on Australia to make it to the semis. And out of England, Nigeria, Colombia, Jamaica, that I think is the most interesting to me. So I'm definitely picking Colombia over Jamaica. England, Nigeria, I'm going back and forth on. I'm not gonna lie. At first I was like, you know what, nah, Nigeria's got this. And then I was like, well, the thing that I think that England have a really good coach. I think that Vegman really knows what she's doing. And she's got to play Lauren, man. Just play Lauren. But I think England's going to get by. And then we're going to have England, Colombia. Just like 2018. I'm going to take Colombia. I don't know. I'm on the Linda high right now. Linda high. So, yeah. My semifinals are Colombia, Australia, Japan, and Spain.
Bold statement, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Right. This is on tape, so we got it for the record. I'm excited to see this. All these matches kind of map out. Do we have a one favorite? I guess, Mark, can I assume it's Colombia, Jamaica, and actually the same for you, Devin?
Absolutely. That's going to be the one to watch.
Oh, into the matchup? Yeah. That's my favorite. But I will say Japan, Norway is second close for me.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to Australia just because I haven't seen Sam Kerr play this entire tournament. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I think Sweden USA is actually going to be a little bit of a goal fest. I'm gonna throw out one goal prediction for this, and it'll be 4-2. And I think it's going to be a theme for the knockout rounds, that the teams that were defending well will hopefully continue to defend well, and those will be the PK matches. But then we're going to see, like, France is, I think, got 9 goals. Sweden has 9, or yeah, Sweden has 9 goals. I think they've only let in 1. So, like, some of these matches are going to be fun. I think it's just going to be a matter of, like, who scores the most. So yeah, should be a good thing. And then another thing that Devin mentioned earlier, has there anything tactical stood out to you guys from the matches that you've watched?
I kind of touched on it earlier, but yeah, just the way the traditional the attacks of the traditional powers have been stifled has been interesting to me. And so I think that, I think, the game is constantly evolving. And so, we're definitely seeing, I think, a tactical evolution. That's not new, but it's, it's sort of in the next phase now. So, yeah, I mean, like the way teams like Jamaica, Colombia in particular have defended, is tremendous. Especially like, and I don't want to do the whole underdog thing too much, because I think that that feeds into the narrative that, like, they're not supposed to be here or they're not supposed to beat certain teams. But yeah, it is remarkable that these so-called underdogs have defended so well. So yeah, it's a lot of parity in this World Cup. I think you hit the nail on the head, TK. Like, you've had some teams that have defended really well. You've had some teams that have, like, had some goal fest, right? Even Germany, who got knocked out, hung 6 on Morocco. So, yeah, that's probably, the defense, I will say, of the less favored teams.
No, I'm absolutely in agreement with that. Just the defensive plan to stifle these powerhouses has been immaculate, and I mean, that goes to show in the results that we've seen. I mean, everybody planned for Brazil to drop 100 goals in this tournament, like, scoring goals for fun, and here they are. They scored what? How many goals have they scored? We count on one hand for the
score.
Total. Yeah, so absolutely right. They had obviously the hat trick in the first match, but after that, from Ari Borges. But after that, I mean, it kind of fizzled out very quick. So I mean, just that the defensive plan all around. To stifle these big attacks. The teams have absolutely put their work in. They haven't shown intimidation, or they're not victims of the moment. They are, they came in with plans and they've executed, and we see these small teams, these small nations, based off FIFA rankings, on to the next stage where these powerhouses are out. So I think if they, now here's where we separate the, the women from the girls, pun intended, and we'll see where it takes them. But up to this point, it's been spectacular.
Excellent. Yeah, very well said. So yeah, man, I think with that said, we can maybe even move on. If anyone has any final words they want to for the World Cup.
Oh, I was wondering if we were going to touch on the U.S. floundering to this point. Well, I mean, not floundering. They made it. You know what? Let's be respectful, right? A lot of teams.
Okay, Carly. Okay, Carly.
My bad.
Ooh, hot topic. Do we want to let's put a cap on it? Let's make sure we don't just tangent and turn it into a rant, because I know I can be easily guilty of doing such. So yeah, let's 4 inches away from getting eliminated, but we're here.
That is the most important thing. there's a lot. I think a lot of people have written a lot of really good things about the tactics, the plans, the lack thereof. If you were on social media, especially the following 12 hours after the match, you might have seen some pass maps or lack thereof, some positional maps, all that. It was a mess. But one of the things that's really stood out to me, and I actually get my Katie Nolan on here, get my pen and paper, but I actually did write some things down from Football Reference. I was looking at the minutes played, because it was like, why haven't we seen Alana Cook? Why haven't we seen more Sofia Huerta? So, all right, these players, there's a list of 8 players that played at least 240 minutes, right? And it's kind of a drop off after that. And I think that kind of makes sense too, because like 240 minutes, right, over 3 games, you've more than likely started all 3 of them. You more than likely played most of them. You probably played all of at least one of them, right? Sophia Smith, Alex Morgan, Crystal Dunn, Lindsay Horan, Emily Fox, Andy Sullivan, Naomi Girma, Julie Ertz. So why do we have 8 players that have basically played close to every minute? And actually, Julie Ertz, Naomi Girma, and Andy Sullivan have played every minute. Julie Ertz, who was just started playing soccer again this year, right? And then I made another list. These are the players that played the least. Lynn Williams, 83 minutes, 1 appearance. Rapinoe, 58 minutes over 2 appearances. Alyssa Thompson, 17 minutes over 2 appearances. Kelly O'Hara, a fullback, right? 8 minutes over 2 appearances. Huerta, 7 minutes over 1 appearance. Sonnet, 7 minutes over 1 appearance. Did not play. DNPs. Why do we even have outfield players that didn't play in the group stage? That immediately is a failure. Alana Cook, Christy Mewis, Ashley Sanchez. What was the point of bringing them then? Christy Mewis plays in the midfield, correct? We were struggling badly in the midfield. How do we not see more rotation? How do we have 2 midfielders that play basically every minute? And then your left back, who was in effect the most active midfielder in the Portugal game. I seriously invite you, if you can, if you're listening to this, to go back and find some pass maps or positional maps. They were looking for Crystal Dunn. And I actually remember a sequence, and I want to say it was in the first half versus Portugal, where was Girma playing left center back? I forget who was where, but let's say the left center back, right? Has the ball. Crystal Dunn moves up the field and then moves inward to show for the ball like a midfielder. It had gotten to the point, she recognized what she needed to do, but then all she really had was Sophia Smith and not much else. Real ugly stuff. Alana Cook not playing a single minute is incredibly baffling to me. How does that even make sense? She's, by the way, 26. She's in the prime of her career, right? She obviously has the legs. She obviously has the experience. She plays for a very good all-rain team. And we were doing a podcast. So you remember when we did the 5-a-side? I ended up choosing Cook for my one defender because of her passing ability. She completes, I looked this up before, she completes about 6.7 long balls per match. The next highest was Marta at 4.9. Marta's a forward, by the way. Head and shoulders in the league above anybody else. You think maybe in those matches we could have used a defender that could pick out a diagonal, that could pick out a forward? Oh man, Sanchez. Okay, so actually let's talk about Alex Morgan, right? She played 241 minutes, right? And we talked about this because this was I don't know the team as well as Sills and Sky and Andre and Courtney and them, but I do know that there aren't very many players in the pool, or at least certainly on the team that he chose, I should say. Let me be specific. That does what Alex Morgan does, right? Target person, center forward, right? He left someone home who could have done that. Well, okay, so I'm thinking about Taylor Korniak. Who am I forgetting?
So if you're talking about people who actually would have had a chance, you're missing Ashley Hatch. If you're talking about people who should have been in that role, then you're talking about the official. Oh,
yeah. I forgot about official. Oh, man. Yeah, it's, But, okay, so you decide not to bring in another center forward option. Fine. How do you not... And we talked about like how Trinity doesn't necessarily play in the middle, right? She's better on the wing, right? She's not necessarily like a target forward yet. All right, fair enough. How do you not mix it up? How do you not like play a 10 maybe with a couple of strikers like Smith and Rodman or Lynn and Rodman? Or it's just, you had so many other options. How does Lynn Williams play one game? Like, realistically, if your goal is to win the group, and I've thought about this too, like, I won't be as harsh on them for not winning the group, just because, like, we see what happened in this World Cup. And I think that's something going forward, like, there will be times where we'll have to be happier or satisfied with advancing, right? But you can control the playing time that your players get, no matter what. And they all need to play if you want to. You need to see, like, you can't treat the group stage as an experiment, but you should be able to get different looks, look at different formations, look at different personnel. How does Lynn Williams not play versus the Netherlands at least? I made a comment in the group chat that he reminds me of a Chelsea coach that's on his last legs. And one of the telltale signs of that is when like the coach in place just calls on the veterans. It's like, fuck, I need you to roll it back. I need you to, I need some old magic. When I saw Rapido was the first sub versus Portugal, I was like, really? Like, no disrespect to Rapido, but just Rapido by herself, and that was the only sub for 80 minutes? Oh, wow, buddy, what are we doing? It's just so much wrong there. Not even getting to the taxes, just the minutes distribution, just awful. But I really feel it for, really in particular for Huerta, Cook, Mewis, and Sanchez, because like they're in the prime of their careers. They may or may not get called up again. They each could have played an important role, and for them to get negligible or no minutes, I mean, it's borderline disrespectful. I don't know. That in particular really bothered me. Just like the clear lack of planning, right? Like, I don't know. I've done a lot of talking, and now I'm speechless.
Preach, bro. That's all I'm saying. Preach.
You hit a lot of good points on the head. Minutes distribution. These players are burnt out. It's very sad to see the disrespect they're kind of getting, I would say, and not even just from a Carly standpoint, but are these players performing up to their standard? No, because they've been playing every minute of the game. They are burnt out. They are tired. They can't perform to the I hold an extreme bias, of course, for my Spirit players, but Andy can't be the director in the sixth position that she needs to be if she's playing every single minute. She is burnt out. There is a reason like that you rotate the players. We want to talk about who the best attacking midfielder that the USA has. Rose Lavelle. Hey, Rose Lavelle's out now. She got 2 yellows. Who's the best player that we have that can imitate Rose and do what she needs to do, especially if you're not going to give Rose all the minutes that she has? There's a fresh Ashley Sanchez on our bench that has not seen a single minute, and she better play Sunday if you want to imitate Rose, because if you're not playing Ashley Sanchez, what are we doing, Blanco? What are we doing? She's your best attacker outside of Rose, who obviously can't play now, but she's your second best attacker in the midfield. So if you're not playing her, I don't get it. If you're not playing Alana Cook, you're clearly shown, I don't know what you're doing, but you've shown a lack of trust in Alana Cook. I don't know why you don't trust Alana Cook, because as Mark clearly stated, once she's 26, she plays on an amazing defensive line when she's here in America. So what's going to be the difference? Like, is she playing something different? No. Crystal Dunn, I know she's been getting looks in the midfield, but she has not seen those flashes that she needs so she can perform how she does at home. You want these players to play in their comfortable positions. You're not putting them in their best chances to succeed. Until we see Sophia, Lynn, and Trinity on that front line, we are not giving our players, our team, the chance to succeed. Alex Morgan, I'm sorry, I understand you are our star girl. I understand you're you're Captain America. Alex Morgan was our lowest performing player in our last couple. And Alex Morgan got the lowest rating on both teams. Not even just America. Like, we have to ask ourselves the hard questions here. What are we doing? Are we putting our players in the chance to succeed? And Savannah DeMello, arguably the best midfielder in the NWSL. I honestly think she deserved her spot. But you can't just toss her out there and with no caps and expect her to just be a world beater. Like, you have to have some growth and adjustment there that you did not give her. Honestly, I don't blame the players for our performances. I blame the tactics. I blame the coach. I do not. Does Vlaco want his job? Is he trying to prove a certain point? I don't get it. I don't understand. If we get eliminated on Sunday, I do not think he keeps his job. Is that what he wants? I don't know. I don't understand. But it seems like everybody else knows the tactics besides the guy that's supposed to be executing them. It seems like everybody knows how to set our players up in a system to succeed except the guy that's supposed to be executing them. And I don't get it. I don't know what we're doing. I know our players are tired, and I would like to see some rotation. I would like to. Carly, as I joked, Carly absolutely bashed the team. They don't have a will to win, and so on and so forth. And you can clearly see that's not the case. They are not being set up to succeed. You are not playing these people to their strengths, and running them into the ground, honestly, you're hustling backwards. And rant over. Steps off box. If we go to PKs, anything's possible. If the result ends in 90 minutes, I do not think we win that game.
Well said. I agree with all the beautiful points that you both made. I think this could just be like a Russian sleeper cell or something, just to like make sure that we don't win, but just do enough to like. I can't possibly think of any good reason why we're not playing our entire squad and utilizing these subs. He gave an excuse about not wanting to give them enough time to acclimate. It would take them too long to acclimate, so he would just keep all the players who started on the pitch, and just I'm not sure what form of FIFA he's playing, but it's not working, and it's really unfortunate because it takes a whole generation of or I won't say a whole generation, but it takes 4 years away from a whole generation. It is a whole generation, because they should be set up like this. And I saw another Jenny, the Fox or the Golasso, the CBS reporter. She mentioned something about Jill interview she did with Jill Ellis, and how prep they knew the roster 5 months out. They knew everything, the tactics, how they were going to implement them, at least for the major teams. And okay, cool, we'll deal with this when we get there, and yada yada yada. But it's like so wild just to see the complete spectrum of like what the fuck are we doing? Versus like, okay, there looks to be some sort of plan, structure, and like cool. And I think that what we're seeing, the really like unnecessary comments from Carly is just like, honestly, maybe just like probably some jealousy, to be real. But I think that like she just doesn't understand like the culture at like a really face level, and she's still seeing things like through her eyes and her lens, and not through the lens of like, oh, these girls should be like giving more. It's up to them individually, independentely. And I mean, that's how it looked. That's how Vlatko set them up. So like that's all they could do. You know, you're working within constraints of a team, because it is a team game at the end of the day. So it was just like some really dumb shit coming out of her mouth, and it was not a good look. And I think that the Crystal Duns and like were trying to actually cheer up the players on the pitch when I like went back and really kind of like try to microanalyze some shit, body language and stuff. Because like people were pissed off. Like you could see that was visible. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go rep with the fans and supporters and like sign autographs, whatever. But like there's, if you can feel the dissent in the squad, which for me, I feel that I feel that already. Like we're on a vibe slide right now in terms of the US, because we come out, we're looking fantastic. It's nothing but vibes, you know. And like get on the pitch and it's like, what this formation is not vibing. So like that, I think that is, the players are trying to take over and survive and the best they can. I think within the women's game, that structure looks a lot different than when the men have to do that as well, or versus what it looks like in the men's game. So I think there's something to be said to that. And yeah, I think there was a tactical point I was going to make earlier that Sills had brought up, but I can't remember off the top of my head, and I think that we may have touched on this and to a good enough extent. But you know,
absolutely.
Right. So best of luck to you, Vlatko. But I hope we got something in the gun loaded, something proper, that is, and we'll see what happens with Sweden.
I just wanted to just drop this in real quick. So remember Thomas Marnie? Remember our boy Thomas? He got 15 months. I will not understand. I'm assuming this is the end of the road for Vlatko. I'll never understand how he got the full 4 years.
There's some funny going on at USSF. No questions, ifs, ands, or buts about it. And yeah, I think it's becoming only more glaringly obvious for the common footy eye to realize.
My last statement from Vlatko, like we mentioned, the full 4 years. It feels like in this entire time, all the friendlies, all the She Believes, all the competitions, I don't think this man ever found his strongest starting 11. And here we are. He's still trying to figure it out. As we were on the brink of elimination from a World Cup, this man is still trying to find his best starting 11. And you ran out of time, bro. You had plenty of time, and you never found it.
So then real quick, I feel like we touched on Jamaica and Brazil, but is there anything that we really want to get into it specifically on those games, or South Africa, Nigeria as well, and Portugal, Netherlands?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All I was going to say in the words of my nice friend Issa Rae, I'm rooting for everybody black.
Amen.
Well, cool. Then, so we're just going to take a second to plug ftcutd.com. Make sure you check out our shirts, hats, cups, mugs, and most importantly, name sets. We are the plug when it comes to name sets. Customization, anytime you are not getting something OEM, as in came with the shirt, like pay $35 extra and just have them put it on the shirt for you, you should be calling FTC UTD. We got anything and everything you could want. Grego will draft it out, design, and make your kit just like a piece of adorned like clothing in your closet. So hit us up, FTC UTD, coming at you. And let's jump into the big fix, because I'm gonna be pretty public about it at this point. I think the Leagues Cup is fixed for Messi to win. I don't feel like we're actually telling refs to like bribing people, you know, like, hey, pull him aside, yada yada, he knows the deal, yada, you know, like shady New Jersey shit or something like that. Nothing against New Jersey, y'all ain't shady, but I'm just saying there's also a vibe about this competition after watching that Orlando match, which didn't catch live but did see replays, and then it was like Twitter was upset, bro. Like, so I'm like, all right, let me investigate. It doesn't look good, bro. That's all I'm saying. So now I just need, because I don't have the time, I've got kids, but I need to like figure out who we can get to watch every fucking minute of Inter Miami until the end of the season, until January 1st of 2024. I need somebody's eyeballs on that team and everything Messi does. And honestly, the whole team. Just the fix is in, man.
Yeah, we got what, 3-4 people that do that already, right?
Tell me I'm wrong. I want to be wrong, honestly.
Yeah, let's get the good doctor and his homies over on the pod who, you know, who've been watching. Get Cali, you know, Cali Fabrizio over here. My guy AD, all our guys are dreaming of freedom and black herons. So yeah, man. You know, wasn't that the goal though? Like, we knew obviously when Messi came, he didn't come here to win the league. That was obviously never a goal for him when he got here. Miami was dead last in the standings, right? So, you know, they got the Leagues Cup against, you know, that's the international money, right? Now you got the, you know, the Mexican teams in there. Now you got the US Open Cup, you know, the Lamar Hunt Trophy. You know, so it looks like, you know, through it all, Inter Miami's going to do the double.
Shut your mouth. You don't say the double.
Qualify for the playoffs. It's so yeah, that, you know, Messi's here for the money right now. It's all about, you know, it's all about the Champions League for Messi. Obviously, the CONCACAF Champions League, and you know, we'll see, you know, if they get a league trophy out of it. But obviously, like, literally, MLS is the least of Messi's concerns at this moment.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I guess to maybe feed the conspiracy a little more. So, like, if we're gonna be honest, right? I don't want to make assumptions about how you guys feel, but like Leagues Cup, like, you know, minus the current, you know, narratives and what's going on right now, like Leagues Cup in and of itself, I mean, it's a first year competition. It's I mean, it is literally made up, which I guess all of this is made up, but still. And like, it's a money grab. You know what I mean? Like, we know, like, Liga MX has their reasons for doing this. MLS has their reasons for doing this, right? They paused the season to have this, like, whatever. The home fixture setup is all funky. So I'm just saying all that to say, like, how much legitimacy does it really have, right? But Messi now advancing, winning his first trophy in America. You get a lot of narratives. Yeah, you get a lot of narratives. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Leagues Cup. All of a sudden now it's a big deal after Messi wins the first one. Yeah, it's on a slightly more serious note. It is interesting to see, like, the Messi effect. And I mean, we've been seeing it already. We've been seeing it in the ticket prices, right? Like, last I checked, it was like $100 and something just for standing room only tickets at the Benz. And like, the Benz is, like, from what I can tell, typically cheaper than most other stadiums. So yeah, I saw a Nashville fan actually. So not even a fan of Orlando, but he was basically ranting about how it's a travesty and the fix is in, and he went on. Right? He was just like, super team is here now. The league is ruined, and I just I thought that was cute, to be honest. I thought that was a bit funny. I don't think that Inter Miami have played anybody. At least since let me be more specific. I don't think Messi has played anybody who's really that good. I mean, like Cruz Azul is struggling this season. We know about Atlanta United struggles. I mean, they're a decent team. And from what I understand, they were actually competitive in that game until the 12th man stepped in. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious to see them against better competition. Although, looking at it, I mean, Dallas, meh. Charlotte,
September 3rd.
You got, yeah, that's who I was looking for. And actually, I think their matchup versus Nashville, which is also that week, that could be interesting. They play Cincinnati in the Open Cup.
I think that'll be interesting as well.
Yeah, so I mean, like, look, he hasn't really played anybody yet. But it is curious to see them meeting Messi and like Busquets just operate with all the time in the world. They were like, wow, we don't get pressed at all, huh?
Busquets was a man in a whole other world. Like he turned around like, I got space. I don't know what to do with myself. This is a different ball game for me.
Yeah. You know what, man? For me, it's all fun. And I say this like obviously we've talked about, we've been critical of MLS, right? And even now, like, there are things that I would do differently from how they operate, but I think clearly, like, it was always the goal to get a Messi, right? And I mean, like, it was Beckham really who paved the way for it. Like, this is what, to me, as far as I can tell, this is what MLS has been striving towards. And yeah, I'm just curious to see how this plays out. But yeah, we'll see how much more 12th man performances we get.
Man, I just think that there's a particular razzle dazzle, like Twellman, Taylor. Just imagine his voice, just. The inaugural Leagues Cup won by Lionel Messi. I mean, like, oh my fucking... Seriously, like, that's what it's gonna be.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, yeah. Like, he's gonna win a cup. So, I hold true to the beginning of the episode. We were gonna talk about a lot of cups tonight. So, here we are. I do think that they are adventurous enough to try and really flex. So now that they've kind of done that in terms of the players they're acquiring, I think that the next thing we're seeing is going to be them pushed to get into the playoffs. The Moss brothers said it, one of them at the introduction, they're pegging for it. I don't think he did it like on the mic, it was an interview thing, but they are definitely going to try and target the playoffs, and MLS is like a real funny league where that shit can happen pretty easily. So I wouldn't put it past it. Even, what are they, like 11 points off, looks like 12 points off? I mean, they're 12 points off right now.
Didn't Rooney take DC from the last place to like third seed or something like that?
DC's, they're ninth right now. They're just on the other side of the cut. So
no, I'm saying when Rooney came over as a player.
Oh, yeah, sure. I can't remember.
Right. I think they just missed the playoffs, if I remember correctly. Did they just miss it, or did they just skate in? It was one of the two.
Either or on the history. Stat boy. It's just one of the things. I think they're targeting every Cup possible, because it's that weird duality that with MLS, there's the supporter shield, which they won't win, but they can certainly win MLS Cup. And if there is one thing that would look even better for this league than Gareth Bale coming into the league, winning, and then retiring, it's Lionel Messi literally coming in the following year, taking a team in dead last, dragging them up. So, Devin, you might be right. You're prophetic in this way. I guess that's just one of your talents, because you're doing this a lot, actually, now that I realize it. Self-check. They're probably going to win the double.
It's 1,000% going to happen. Like it's not even a if and maybe. There's a chance of it. It's 1,000% going to happen.
So are we ready for Inter Miami fans to be insufferable, essentially?
I'm curious to see like how much of
a
yeah. Oh, shots. Clip them up. What was I gonna say? Oh, I just I remember now. So with Inter Miami, I'm curious to see how much the brand itself grows, right? Obviously, people get the jerseys and, wear them out and so on, but will they actually stick around for Inter Miami? Will they actually, even get to know the rest of the team? Or will it just be, what time are they playing? I want to see Messi, and obviously there will be those people. So, for example, that first game where people poured out after Messi, which was, it's not a shock, but at the same time, it is funny. But yeah, you're gonna get that, So, yeah, I'm just curious. We talked about it before in terms of the Messi effect on MLS, and that's just one of them, And I think it really does start with Inter Miami. How much can their brand grab fans? I guess.
Dev, before you jump in, actually speak to this a little bit more for us, because of your particular position and role that you play on the daily, in terms of how maybe this is actually going to fall on Inter Miami and the front office, but then some of this is really going to be on the way that the fans are also taking and accepting casuals, and how we're presenting the game, and how welcoming we are being in terms of that, maybe.
Oh, so first and foremost, obviously, if you know anything about soccer, and if you're not, you're listening to us because you want to get in. Soccer in America is 1,000% a gatekeeping league. MLS is 1,000% a gatekeeping league, and I don't have to deal with Messi, I should say, obviously, because I work on the women's side, but obviously a lot of coworkers or a lot of friends of mine, I should say, who do work for MLS and work for teams, and it's an absolute issue to especially on the supporter side, to keep Messi fans out of the supporter section. Obviously, Messi fans are going to are trying any way they can. Obviously, tickets being $10 million for is an over exaggeration to get into the stadium. You're paying off your rent to sell your ticket to a Messi game at this point, but people are trying to get in to the stadium anyway, anyhow, to see Messi, repping their Argentinas, repping their repping their Barcelonas, repping their Boca Juniors, repping their Newell's Old Boys, any Messi related teams. And obviously supporters sections are home team only, right? So no away colors. If you are there for the away team, you better shut the hell up, because it's going to end up bad. Just the stories that I have to hear the teams have to take to make sure that there is no Messi in the supporter section of stands has been a trip, because they've been trying it, and they're going to continue to try it just due to that brand of Messi as itself. But yeah, being the gatekeeper league that it is, if you're not with us, you are not friendly. You are the enemy. So it's been crazy times so far, hearing everything that I've heard from other supporter relations managers that work in the MLS. It's been crazy times.
Yeah, man, and I think we're gonna actually. I mean, yeah, that's a huge issue from a certain standpoint from the supporters, and that could really drive a lot of fans away at the end of the day. I know we talk about this pretty regularly, I guess we'd say, with the home team, and the way that Atlanta United chooses to market into certain markets of town or neighborhoods, if you will, and definitely being intentional with that. And I know I've heard the Dr. Jermaine Scott mention this as well, and call out Inter Miami and, like, ask the question, like, can we do this better in another way to get out to the communities and be more intentional. So I think until that flips on the club side, you're gonna have a lot of those scenes or the Instagram reels where everyone's draining out the stadium at, like, whatever minute Messi gets subbed off, because they've built it up to be like a showcase. If you turn on Apple TV, Messi's in the corner on the left, like, I saw somebody rocking a Pepsi shirt with Messi on the back, like, I'm getting it any kind of way we can on this Messi train, bro. So, like, yeah, it's all about how, like, intentional you are with that fan, if they stay or not, and then if that intends to or can eventually grow the game, and we have another Messi come along. Because honestly, if it wasn't for that case, I think we would have had Ronaldo already in the league two seasons ago. But that might be a whole other can of worms. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Speaking on the business side of things, right? So I would say the biggest comparison to Messi that I see in my day-to-day is obviously Alex Morgan, right? Alex Morgan, I would say, is the female Messi in this instance, where at the end of the day, right, the purpose of any team, I would say, is to sell tickets, right? Is to sell at the stadium. And how can they do that as quickly as possible? They're taking the most well-known casual name that, you may not even be a soccer fan, but I'm sure you know Lionel Messi. You may not even be a women's soccer fan, but I know you know Alex Morgan, and we're going to do whole campaigns around them. There was a thing with Gotham a few months ago. Come see Alex Morgan. Does Alex Morgan play for Gotham? No. Like, y'all are doing San Diego's San Diego might as well fire their marketing team because you guys are doing it for them. So is that same? What'd you say?
Effortless.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it's kind of that same deal with Messi, right? They're going to do whatever it takes to fill the stands, to sell at the stadium, to generate as much revenue through ticket sales as possible. And that's how they're going to capture, that's how teams best believe they're going to capture, the casual fan and turn them into, a season ticket member. Is we're going to, or even it's just a quick money grab in that sense, right? It's just like, oh, we know they're coming to town. Let's get all the money that we can in this moment, because we're not going to catch another moment like that, that our team isn't doing on their own. So yeah, it's all about, it all comes down to ticket sales. It all comes down to revenue generation. How can we get as many people in the stadium as possible at one time? Everybody knows Lionel Messi. Everybody knows he's the greatest in the world. Come see the GOAT. Boom. So that's how it's been going, especially on my side. And they do that same thing with Alex Morgan in the NWSL.
Just to piggyback real quick, that is an American soccer theme, I would say. because like as you were saying that, I got my memory going. And I had to Google it, and the first thing, so I Googled FC Dallas ads. Right, the first thing is Herculez Gomez bashing FC Dallas for using Carlos Vela on their promotional material, and this is from 2020. So, and I remember watching that clip. But yeah, like that is, you're absolutely right. I mean, they're in it to sell tickets, and that every sports team is, right? But like, it's definitely not how they do it in other countries. You know what I mean? And
it's got to be about the product. And one player can't be the whole product. Like,
right?
Sure, we sell like the LeBron Jameses. There's always got to be a star, but that's not the product. Like, LeBron can't win that whole title himself. Like, it's a team thing, and like that's what I'm saying. It's gotta, like, how are the supporters? Oh, are we teaching tactics? Are we you motherfuckers actually got to pass it? You can't just dribble all the way through there. You know, like, it's not.
No, yeah, exactly. You know, like, you know, or sell products, sell storylines. You know, you're selling history. You know what I mean? But yeah, we do it differently over here for sure.
That big money. We need them dollar bills. Add revenue in my pocket. And with that, I think we're ready for 2 Up, 2 Down. So this week we're going to do some global 2 Up, 2 Down. Big shout out to Marta. Man, I'm not sure if you guys caught that speech for the post presser, but it was just as emotional, just as touching, just as moving, and just wishing her the best and wanting to give the flowers that she rightfully deserves for just the fantastic career, you know, that she's had, and just looking forward to see how she continues to change the women's game and succeed in her own future.
Definitely shout out to Marta. That moment also that I want to bring up between Bunny Shaw and Marta. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, just make sure you got your tissues ready, y'all. I don't care how manly you are. I watched that and I had to, like, who's cutting onions? Because it don't make no sense how emotional this is. You know, just to see Bunny Shaw, you know, 1 goal off from the Golden Boot this season. I mean, one of the greatest, you know, forwards in the world right now, and just how she, you know, pulled Marta aside, and, you know, even in this moment, like, Marta, you are my inspiration. You inspire me. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. It was very, very touching. So definitely shout out to Marta for sure. We had here at the Spirit had the pleasure of playing Orlando City as well, not too long ago, in Audi. I'm pretty sure that was our 4-2 Challenge Cup game where we scored all our goals from outside the box. Marta hadn't come back just yet, but she was there, and she came over to our supporter section, took pictures with our supporters, and it was a very big deal to a lot of them, so it definitely meant a lot, and I saw that, and so definitely shout out to Marta. You're you know, you've inspired generations. There's, you know, in that same sense with Alex Morgan, I think Marta is Alex Morgan on a global scale, where Alex Morgan is, you know, it here in America. I think the rest of the world knows Marta and the impact that she's had on this game. And, you know, as historic as it was, to see, you know, Jamaica win, and, you know, was I low-key rooting for Jamaica to win towards the end, of course. As poetic as it would have been, you know, just as Messi got his World Cup, for Marta to finally get hers, I think that would have been a great story as well. But I hope she's able to finish off her season here in the NWSL. You know, I doubt, you know, anything can happen. You make it to the playoffs in the NWSL, anything can happen. But, you know, I hope she finishes it off on her terms and does everything that she, you know, she goes out the way that she wants to go out because she single-handedly changed this game for sure. So hats off to you, shout out to you, what a great career, and looking forward to what you do next.
Mark, anything to sizzle on top?
Even though Brazil went out earlier than expected, I think the kids are all right. I think Ari Borges, Caroline, Debinha, all of whom would have at one point looked up to Marta, been a little girl watching Marta in the World Cup, sauce in the US and others. So, man, she's a legend. She's an inspiration. And it just goes to show you, like, even though she didn't have that big title, it didn't stop her from being an inspirational figure. It's just larger than life. I mean, like, watching her give those speeches, it's, again, grab the tissues. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, I
will run through a wall for Marta.
Yeah, exactly. And I look forward to watching her in NWSL, honestly. I hope that, she can at least get a playoff run,
Yeah, that would be poetic. And just so we, as a entity here for the culture, we want to make sure we're honoring and giving the flowers properly. Marta Vieira da Silva is her name. We appreciate everything you've done. Big ups. Also, MLS. They are doing a third jersey, I think, or fourth jersey. I can't even remember. I think it's the fourth, actually, for some special teams. It's the freestyle kit release. New York's is actually, the Red Bulls is actually really fucking dope. It's the 50 year or it's either 50 or 25 year of hip hop. 25? All right, yeah, 25 or 50. I can't see, my things are covering here. Is it 50 or 25?
50.
Okay, so 50 years of hip hop. 25 would be like Yachty, or I guess maybe just Kanye when he was great. But anyway, yeah, man, that's a clean jersey. I'm looking forward to the one that Atlanta puts out. I believe that's going to be a cross with everything. Atlanta influences everything, and I believe there's one for LA as well. Maybe if you know, speak on that. If there's any other teams in the league that are getting one, I think Toronto also got one as well. Theirs was all right. But yeah, some really cool stuff coming out from Adidas. There's a whole thing on that. And yeah, for fourth kit flavor. See if you like it. Have you guys seen it yet, or you in it? No.
I was just reminding myself what the Red Bull jersey looks like. I like that.
I've seen the Red Bull jersey was one as well, and yeah, that's pretty fire. I haven't had the chance to see the other ones yet, but yeah, that Red Bull one, good on them. Good for them to kind of make it part of the the community. Obviously, hip hop started in New York. Obviously they play in New Jersey, but it's that same area. So way to take a big moment, especially hip hop, obviously what that's meant to the black community, whereas soccer and the black community haven't always gotten along, but hip hop is bigger than all of this, right? I mean, hip hop has become an international genre. They're listening to hip hop music in third world countries. So hip hop is absolutely outgrown everything. The world is copying hip hop style. So awesome to Red Bulls for that shout out.
It's called grind. Sorry.
I love that Toronto kid too.
The two ups on my side, and I'll turn it over back to you, Mark. Big ups on just some personal stuff in life. Just trying to being able to close a couple doors, and in a good positive manner, that is, to try and push some projects out. Just got done cut some MLS stuff for All-Star Week that we did with 41. And then, got a lot of other content that I can't speak on that's in the pipeline, and really excited to get that out and for everyone to see it and things of that nature. Some big things really uploading. And just really, really, really excited, motivated to get all that stuff out. And then, I guess another up, just 2 ups for me, no downs. I guess we're going to San Diego. We'll try to do San Diego for the NWSL final.
Unless the spirit make it, y'all got it.
We'll try one more trip this year. So y'all pray for me. And then that's it. I'm gonna hand it off.
So let's see, for my ups, I'm gonna focus my up on friends of ours, Shea Butter FC and Diaspora United. And I said this on Twitter, but I just want to repeat it here. Like, just being able to be there for what I think is a historic Women's World Cup. I think that we'll remember this one for a while. Like, it feels like there's been a huge shift in excitement. I say investment from fans, attention, and just overall expectations. I think that so far this World Cup has delivered, and especially from for what we do, right, elevating Black voices in soccer. I think it's great that Shea Butter and Diaspora were able to be there on hand, and get like first-hand coverage, and just being able to experience it. Like if anybody deserves it, it's them. So for my downs, keep it World Cup themed. So one of them, FIFA rankings. What are they? They don't even, let's go ahead and toss them in the bin, right? Like, they don't, clearly what we've seen from this World Cup is they don't mean anything. The other down, though, and it's kind of stemming from the Carly Lloyd comments, but specifically, the whole, I guess, downplaying the fact that they were greeting the fans and signing autographs and, taking selfies and whatnot, showing the fans appreciation, something that Trinity Rodman, as Devin can speak to, I'm sure, does every game. Like, and will stay as long as there is a fan asking for an autograph or a selfie, right?
Every single game. This ain't brand new for Trinity. This ain't something she just started in Australia. She's been doing this since day one of being in this league. And it literally gets to the point, I'm sorry, Mark, but it literally gets to the point security's like, all right, guys, we gotta cut it off, because Trinity will stay out there doing TikToks with girls. I've seen it all. So this ain't new to Trinity, y'all.
And that's awesome. That's not what my down is. I wish that was more of a normal thing. And I think that is one of my gripes with American soccer, or the American soccer community, is I don't think the fans are appreciated enough for the sacrifices they make. Starting with money. Like, we pretty much pay Premier League prices. You know what I mean? Like, do we always get a Premier League product? Not, like, if you're talking MLS, not necessarily. And so, and things like that, like, in European leagues, it's normal to acknowledge the away fans, right? You go over, you play like shit, you play poorly, they're cussing you out, whatever. You go over, you acknowledge them. I just think I just wish that was more of, like, accepted, more of the norm, instead of being used against them. Against the players in that case, like, that's silly. Like, I think what they did, I don't care who you are, it wouldn't have been easy to travel to Australia and be there. You know what I mean? So good on the players for doing that. I hope they continue, and I hope that becomes the norm at club and country level for U.S. soccer.
Yeah, and also to piggyback off your Shea Butter up, and Diaspora United, shout out to Sky, Sills, Ebony, Alex, Courtney, Andre, everybody out there. Enjoy y'all. Not only has it been good for the culture, it's been good for us. The players themselves have openly said they appreciate having that coverage to them, because ain't nobody else doing it. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but I do remember like once they said they were coming, a player did tweet, like Shea Butter, just say how much they did appreciate getting that coverage and recognition in that sense. So it's important to the players as well. The players do see these, and they need that love because they are not getting it elsewhere. So, always, salute to them, always out there. Yeah, man. I'm gonna keep mine definitely World Cup related. This has definitely been the craziest World Cup that we've ever seen. When have we seen such upsets as with Jamaica, as with Morocco? Knocking out Canada, knocking out Brazil, knocking out Germany. The US were 4 inches from being eliminated themselves. The game has absolutely grown. The vibes are on 100 right now, and there's so many feel-good stories. Jamaica needing a GoFundMe to literally get there and knocking out Brazil. A couple of those players on Jamaica's teams don't even play for clubs. And they've knocked out Brazil, who were arguably the tournament champions going into it. So many feel-good stories. These women are, absolute superstars. I'm very happy to be a first-hand witness to it all every single day. And these elimination rounds are going to be crazy as well. So very, looking forward to all that. If I can as well, I also definitely the Spirit have been holding it down as well. We still have Challenge Cup games in spite of the World Cup. Not everything has stopped. So we did just get a good win over Gotham on Friday, 4-2. It started off bad. We went down 2-0 within 8 minutes of the game. And then Ashley Hatch proving that she maybe should have earned a World Cup roster spot, getting a brace and an assist. Chloe Ricketts got a goal, which the stadium blew out for. The stadium was absolutely crazy for that goal. It was such a good time. And it's good to see like our younger players, getting that recognition that they deserve as well. And looking forward to the end of the season when everybody's back and pushing for the playoffs. And make sure you're watching, because I promise you're not gonna want to miss it. Those are my ups. Do I have any downs? Tired, bro. It's working in the women's game. It's don't think it's for the weak. Like I said, we still have games ourselves. We still have World Cup watch parties. Nothing has stopped. Nothing has slowed down. If anything, it's doubled and it's sped up. I wouldn't, but I'm here to change the world. I'm here to make an impact. I'm here to make a difference. So I wouldn't trade that experience for none of it. But damn, I'm tired. That's really all I got.
Bro, I hear you, and that is a big global up for sure. I didn't see it live, but boy, that hatch to Ricketts, man, boy, 15, right? 16-year-old scoring the first goal. That was just bonkers, amazing scenes. It just because of the way it happened.
It was a soft goal too.
Yes. Yeah, it was just like I said, just beautiful moments. It was really wonderful to see that. And then she's like dedicated to her sister, little sister. I was like, oh, la family. I love it. Just good vibes all around on that one. I did actually have a global down. Fox, fix your advert, man. It's the most offensive thing in footy I've seen. You guys got big balls, footballs. Y'all spending mad money to get the rights to the World Cup. Not just this one currently, the last one for the men's, and the next one for the men's. Y'all got money. The person who can fix that already works for you. My rants on Twitter, fix the advert, man. Just like put something soccer related. That's all I'm asking for. Because it sucks and it shows that you guys really don't care and you're not intentional. That's it. So thank you guys for joining us. This has been episode 186 of For the Culture Soccer Show. And yeah, we'll see you next time at the intersection of Black culture and soccer. We out. FTC.
UTD.
Almost forgot it. Peace.
FTC UTD.